Hey there, jamblers. When I ain't out raccoon hunting with my hounds, tracking trails, crossing hollows, hearing the sweet sound of that tree ball, I'm at home betting with Odd Chopper. Hi, everyone. I'm Billy. I'm an old codger now, but back in the days before Odd Chopper, I spent all my time outdoors, soaking in the sun, making memories with my dogs. Now, no thanks. Now I spend my time hunting EV. With Odd Chopper, I don't need to go outside and get exercise engaging in real sports. I can just bet on them from my computer and make more money than the biggest raccoon hide in the Ozarks. So give them a try. If you use our link in the show notes or via goodjujubets.net, give us a shout. We're happy to help show you the ropes.
We can't lose. No, we can't lose.
Enjoy it while it lasts. Gambling gods, fickle bunch. Oh yeah, so easily
We
offended.
have a shooter and a good one coming out for a new point. Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen. He's a rolling, point is 9, place 9, 9 a winner. Got a hot hand. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen.
They bet on absolutely anything. Don't make them prove it.
I'm very proud of that title because I came up with it and we're going back of all the different titles, like, oh, bet on it or bet this. It's like, first of all, it's hard to come up with something clever. It's really hard to come up with something that hasn't been taken yet.
Yeah.
So I was proud of that.
You're tuned in to Gambling with Good Juju.
Welcome in, everybody, to Gambling with Good JuJu, where we're 1 year in and we're making changes. Before we get into what we've been up to, please take a moment and give us a like, follow, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Gambling with Good JuJu. We also love to interact with fans of the show. Hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at Good JuJu Bets. On today's show, we are talking podcasting in sports betting space. We're excited to be joined by Will Hill. Will hosts a podcast, Shoulda Bet More, that talks current events in the world of sports gambling, featuring a guest with particular expertise on the topic of the day. Before we get to Will, however, three of us need to catch up on life in our new weekly segment, The Heat Check. We also have some thoughts on our journey in podcasting so far, and we're excited to learn more from Will to further the experience for others on this show. Let's do this, boys. Let's ride. It's the Heat Check.
Good work.
There's only one topic that I want to talk about. It's almost the end of April,
Basketball.
and all you are thinking the same thing. Guys, my model came through. Breezy's college basketball coaches who can't win it all model is officially 1-0. UCONN won it all. We bet them in November. I think I'm famous now,
I'm
right?
dumbfounded.
I mean,
Nice work.
next year, everyone's going to turn to me as the expert in college basketball, don't you think?
No,
Definitely.
Hopefully not. Keep it under wraps. We don't want them spoiling the prices.
Well, but we're going to be the ones getting down first now.
Oh.
We're the originators.
Aha.
So now we're rich.
Now we're rich.
So next year,
Bet, sports, and profit.
so we bet 7 units. I bet it at a $25 rate, so I'm going to use that number in my head for $175 total. That UConn ticket for me cashed for $50 plus the $25. So nice little, what is that, $300 profit.
Nice one.
That's all I had. RJ was over there cleaning his fingernails, waiting for me to finish,
College basketball.
because we have promised that in the Heat Check, we're not going to drone on too long. What else have we been up to lately, dude?
Heat check. Well, we went to the casino.
No way. What casino?
Only top 10 Central Midwest casinos, paradise.
That is not a top 10 Midwest casino.
It might be.
It might be.
I guarantee you
I don't think I've been to 10 Midwest casinos yet, so.
there is definitely more than 10 in the Paradise
Top
casinos
20.
at the bottom.
Top 20.
Why did we go?
Well, we
This
met
time.
up with a old friend of ours from grade school who was super not into gambling, but we drug him along because we didn't know what else to do because have a very slim personality these days.
Hey, you want to come hang out with us, people? Sure. We'll meet you at the boat.
So he watches us play craps for about 30 seconds, and then he goes and plays the Chicago Bears slot machine, which I'd never seen.
The kind of machine we would say is definitely rigged because it's branded.
Definitely rigged. You got to pay those royalties, so don't play those. And thankfully, I go over there and put my card in to get his reward points. But he hit the little baby feature, I think is what you call them, right?
Yeah,
The
you hit
feature.
the mini jackpot.
He hit
for
the feature.
4x.
Well, he hit the first feature.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, thank God. I was hoping I was, almost had to pay the taxes on that. And then he's like, all right, in typical beginner's fashion, one more spin. And he hits it, and he hits the little baby jackpot thing.
And then he got like ×2 on it or
And
something.
he
Yeah.
times two'd it. Thankfully, I pulled it out right before he hit the button. So no worries on that. But then the hilarious part is Breezy's like, oh, let me show you how to play a slot machine.
No, I wasn't. I was trying to look for a slot machine the whole time. I wasn't trying to show anyone up. I just wanted to
Right,
play
of
a
course.
slot machine.
Of course. So then you shred $40 into the slot machine next to it. And then
He wins 500,
he wins 500 beans. Yeah. Shout out.
and he's a Bears fan.
And he's a Bears fan. And he's like at dinner talking about how, I should probably bet on the Bears to win the Super Bowl because
Why
I
not?
got a tip
Right.
or whatever. And instead, he shreds $40 in the slot machine you just played to try to prove you wrong. He knew how to do it better than you. And then he doesn't ever bet on the Bears to win the Super Bowl.
Ross, if you're listening to this, you need to bet on the Bears to win the Super Bowl. You won $500 there, bud.
Or not.
All right.
I'll call you as soon as they win. It'll be my first call.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
That was
You
good.
are our first call.
Good to see Ross. Shout out Ross. He's going to the draft on Thursday. That's exciting.
Oh yeah, that would
Yeah.
be fun. Jealous.
Yeah.
That's a bucket list.
I am jealous of that, but not too jealous. I don't think I care as much as you guys do about the draft.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I mean, they got the first pick. That's kind of neat.
Yeah. And the 9th.
And
It's
the
a
9th.
good draft to go to if you're a Bears fan.
Absolutely. And it's in his hometown
Yep.
or where he lives.
What about you, Kurt? What's on your mind these days?
Well, I posted a retweet a couple days ago about baseball, and I'm beyond frustrated. I'm a big baseball fan, love baseball, but what's happening right now in baseball is just an absolute joke. I think I made the tweet that I sent out was from Ballpark Pal, and he was talking about the home runs, just the scoring that's been down, the power has not been there, the balls aren't getting hit as far. And I think I tweeted another one today that was talking about exit velocity. And so exit velocity measures how fast the ball comes off the bat, right? So in comparing, I think it was 2017 to today, for the same 106 mile per hour exit velocity, the balls are today traveling 40 feet less. So that's pretty concerning. I think MLB is messing with the baseballs. I think they're trying to create more of a strategic game, more hits, try to get more action instead of the one big hit and the 3 runs. They're trying to make it just a more action game, not just one big play a game.
What's going on with the strikeout rate? Is it down?
I haven't looked at this.
I'll trade homers for less strikeouts. I would agree with that strategy if it works, but not. I don't want to just eliminate homers to add flyouts.
Right. Right.
But if the rule changes are also keeping the spin rate down for pitching or other things that might put more balls into play, I can get on board with this.
Yeah. So you say that, but on Sunday, I watched the Mariners play the Rockies in Coors, right? Coors obviously score a bunch of runs, right?
Fun park.
High elevation, fun park to hit in. I have never seen a game go to extras at Coors tied 0 to 0.
Wow.
And it actually went.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
It actually went into the 11th inning tied 0 to 0.
RIP to your DFL.
So, I mean, what's going on here? I mean, they can't even hit the ball in Coors.
So baseball bought Rawlings a couple of years ago, right?
I
So
don't understand why they're doing this.
yeah, I don't either.
Like, just keep the ball the same.
Keep the ball the same. Let's hit the ball. Let's
do other things.
Right.
To change it. Yeah, I agree.
So, baseball product has been awful this year.
Yeah, it's boring.
So
I still like it, but I'm not watching it as much because life.
Somebody asked me about the Cubs the other day. How are they doing? I didn't even know what to say.
Oh, they're doing great.
I have
They're
no
winning.
idea.
I'm my over 84.5 lock.
Done.
Already won. All right, boys, let's get into this. So let's get meta for a second here. We've been doing this show for a year now.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. Hey, let's do
Get
this.
the applause.
I really wanted to be like a year in and I nailed it.
Yeah, I was
And
like,
I didn't.
you guys want to hear a
Some
joke?
pause.
We've done this for a year.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So we sat down after a year. We took a mini break and we said to ourselves, we need to get a little less aimless and a little more focused. We thought we like a lot of what we do, but there's some things that maybe if we honed in a little more the content for the show, our audience might appreciate us more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think the heat check is a perfect skit.
That's
And
our open.
That's our open.
Yeah. You got thoughts, get them out in the heat check, boys. And then we go into the topic here. And so in the topic, what we're going to get out of this, what we hope to get out of this, we're doing a great job of giving this exact thing right now. Clear expectations. We want clear expectations for the audience. We want clean segments. We want one main topic per show. So for those of you who are wondering, today's episode is podcasting with Good JuJu.
Podcast
We
about
went
podcast.
super meta for this episode. We hope everyone likes it. Ultimately, we hope this provides more insights with greater focus and less time wasted for everyone.
The editor.
Yeah. We've also adjusted our schedules some behind the scenes. Episodes will now air every other week, giving us the time to ensure each episode meets our now high standards. So we're excited. This week, we're talking podcasting with Good JuJu. Already scheduled in the next couple months, we're going to have episodes focusing on casino dealing with Good JuJu, bet bashing with Good JuJu, and NBA draft conspiracies with Good JuJu.
Personal favorite.
Yeah, we've been really high on the NBA draft conspiracies.
Get excited, Jelly.
Okay. Podcasting with Good JuJu. Let's talk for a minute about our thoughts from the first year of gambling with Good JuJu. Anything that has surprised either one of you about this podcast process for us?
My mom listens.
That's fantastic.
Because we told her.
You're right.
You know how many times I told my parents to listen and they don't?
Yeah, I won't get into that. I told my parents and then they knew about it for a couple weeks and then they forgot about it. And now it's gone.
Yeah. Shout out
out
your mom.
To Therese.
Shout out moms.
Yeah. Your mom is definitely the most into it. You know what surprised me the most
What's that?
about making a podcast? The amount of work that goes
Yeah.
into making a podcast. I kid you not. On planning the show was generally a 3-hour exercise, and then editing the show was we were going an hour and 15, boys, so that was getting about 4 hours to edit that. So I'm just personally excited that with this change, we're going to be focusing more on content
Yeah.
and less on the crummy work of creating a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little surprised we got better at sports betting.
You are surprised that we got better through this?
No, maybe.
I absolutely 100% do not think we would be where we are today without the podcast in terms of our sports game.
You might be right. Yeah.
We have absolutely run it up, audience.
Tell the IRS.
Or not.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're losing. We broke exactly even, is what I meant to say. So, well, I don't know. Kurt, what do you think? Has this show met your expectations in terms of providing you the fun and enjoyment of doing a podcast after a year?
Yeah. I mean, it's been what I thought it would be. Hanging out with you guys,
Yeah, which is awesome.
enjoying our time. That's really what I care about the most.
Yeah.
Is seeing you guys once a week. Now
It's
it's
been
going to
great.
be, and we can just shoot around the horn and talk about sports and betting and all the things we enjoy talking about when we're in the garage or
Yeah.
over in your backyard.
And I think it's fair to say, even with our wives listening to this, that was a huge thing for us too, was having that night a week where we could get together and do what we do virtually.
Shoot the breeze.
We prefer IRL. We don't prefer LOL. We prefer laughing out loud. So then what about this, guys? What was your single best moment from the podcast over the last year?
You got one, bud? Because I got a top 4 list.
You got a top 4 list? Okay, go with your top 4 list.
No, you guys got to go first.
Okay, fine. My best moment would probably be interviewing. Oh God, I'm drawing a
Rob
total-
Gurrick.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was going to be my guess for you.
What a great
Yes.
time. It's
Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
He's at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, very cool.
I was excited about that. For me
Stats.
personally, because I viewed this as a professional win, even though it's not at all. But the chuckle and the no comment from Derek Carty on my question about his involvement with Major League Baseball teams
Yeah,
was a feather in my cap personally.
that was good. First no comment of the show.
It was the first no comment, and it felt like I had asked a question that was a really good question.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So like I said, I got a few here and I'm just going to run through these quick. We're not going to make this a drawn out thing. One, meeting old Turd Ferguson in Las Vegas and like having something to talk about. That was kind of neat.
yes,
Yeah. Pretty big.
a
right?
reason for being.
Yeah. The next one, moving to this basement. Like that was a big deal.
Oh, you thought moving to Kurt's basement was a big,
Oh, how much
Upgrade.
easier is this, right?
so much easier
Yeah.
than your garage.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Anyway. All right. Having my lovely wife on to talk about BravoCon in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
That's pretty good, right?
That was fun.
Yeah, that's probably number one. But for shock value, number one, creating the squad ride audio segments.
Oh,
Like what a dog crap thing to do in general, but great job
It was so
nailing
fun.
the intro.
Good JuJu squad ride.
Right. So yeah, that was pretty
And
good.
we got retweets and tails off that, didn't we?
Yeah, lost
We didn't do well.
college football.
We have never been, we will never be a pick service.
We are professional mushers.
But we do recommend that you
Especially
follow the link in the show notes and sign up through OddShopper so that we benefit.
We can't mush them all.
We're profitable sports bettors, I swear. Any regrets?
I regret we didn't start sooner.
Oh, that's one of those Miss America pageant answers where you give an answer that's exactly the opposite of the answer.
Hmm.
But it was good. Well done.
Mhm.
Well, my regret would be that we don't have profanity, which I'm okay with, but
But
it
it's
just doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't let me be myself.
You don't actually listen to the episodes, so you might not know this, but the Good JuJu beeps that have become the trademark of swear words,
kind of the best
I
part.
now giggle when guests do swear words so I can Good JuJu them.
Right.
I will not giggle if you just start randomly swearing all the time.
I think you should just stick some in.
I have a couple regrets.
All right, let's hear them.
My number one regret from this entire show was first yelling and then not hitting record the night we interviewed Brett Sidelucky.
Sorry, Brett.
For the record, I regret both my behavior towards you, Kurt, as well as the failure to record the interview with Brett Sidelucky. I was tired. It was a rough day.
What
But it's
happened?
not to be excused. The night
He didn't hit
you were
record.
looking at your phone
Oh,
and I
was that
got
the
into it
same
with your
one?
garage.
That was
and
the same
then
night.
15 minutes later, we had to interview Brett Sidelucky, and in the chaos of it all, I never hit record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was by far my single biggest regret.
It was hilarious.
But outside of that, I wouldn't say that I've had a lot of regrets. I've just had a lot of panic, like in terms of, am I prepared? Am I prepared? Am I prepared?
yeah.
But it's always turned out well. And I wouldn't say there's much regrets in something where our goals and expectations, especially for this first year, was learn how to do a podcast.
Yeah.
So given that that was literally what are our benchmarks for this, we far exceeded those. We made connections with people who we've really enjoyed interacting with. We've learned so much more. We've become much better gamblers. And now's the time for us to sit back like we did and say, okay, what do we really want to do with this show? And I think focusing in on these individual topics, hopefully you learn something about our experience here with podcasting. Hopefully you learn a little more from Will. He did a great job of walking through his show and how he goes about it. And then as we move forward on these episodes, each episode, we're going to go ahead and tackle one topic that's really interesting to us and try to learn more about it.
Fantastic.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. Great work getting us this far, Peter.
Yeah, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
Let's do this. All right.
MVP.
Woo. Thank you.
JuJu MVP.
I'll accept player of the game. All right. And now we want to learn more. We've brought on our newest friend of the show, Will Hill. You can find Will on Twitter at @NotTheWillHill. He is a host, analyst, and writer for Fox and VSiN, a handicapper with Gold Boys Sports Betting, and as mentioned at the open, host of the high-quality podcast, Shoulda Bet More. Stick around for that interview, and we'll be back to recap after. Well, before we get started here, we're Bears fans, specifically RJ and I. Do you have a hot take on Caleb Williams? How good should we feel? How are we looking here?
You're due to have a good quarterback, are you not? I don't know. Due is a dangerous word in betting. But if anybody's done, I'm a Vikings fan. I don't know if you see the hoodie here.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you guys because you guys are in good shape. You guys got defense, you got draft picks. I mean, look, we heard Trevor Lawrence was going to be generational. Anytime you tell me somebody's generational, I'm a little skeptical. But as long as he's pretty good, if he's like the 8th, 10th best quarterback in the league with a defense, with draft picks, I mean, here's the thing. One of the great things in life you can have is low expectations. I mean, as long as he's decent, the Bears fans are going to love him. Love him.
Is Trevor Lawrence's second contract good?
It's not going to be. Did he sign it?
I don't know. I'm asking because
it's not going to be good. No, I don't think he's okay. I mean, he's that worst thing you can be because these teams, they just live in fear of not having a quarterback that's serviceable. And when you get one, you just hold on to them. And boy, it's like overpaying for a max player in the NBA where it's just, you have no problem paying LeBron or Curry or Luka or, Jokic. You get in trouble when you start giving max money to like DeMar DeRozan. And I just feel like Trevor Lawrence, it might be DeMar DeRozan. He's okay. He's pretty good. He was billed as being the next whatever, Peyton Manning, generational. He's okay. He's not. I don't think he's special. That's the word that was really sold to us. He's special. I mean, look, we're deep enough into his career. I haven't seen a lot of special.
Well, we're not asking for generational good. So if we could just get second contract good out of Caleb Williams, it'd be something we've never seen as Bears fans.
For sure.
So that's kind of where we're standing. What do you think about the Bears at number 9?
Very flexible because you don't need a quarterback. You got a pretty good defense. It's kind of, I don't want to say house money because they definitely need some skill, but they can kind of go in any direction. They like a pitcher who's ahead in the count. They can kind of throw any pitch wherever they want. You want to get a receiver, get a receiver. A pass rusher falls to you, an offensive lineman falls to you. You can kind of go best player available. It's a little bit of a house money pick. Again, as a Viking fan, I'm very jealous of the position. When you got a quarterback, really the best position you can be in the NFL, we'll see how good Caleb is when you have a good defense and you have a good quarterback on a rookie contract. And if you have both of those, man, the rest of life just gets easy. It's kind of easy to find the receivers and the running backs and the rest. The rest just kind of takes care of itself. So I don't know. Do any of the receivers fall to them? Does Dunze
maybe? Yeah.
Maybe. I would say 50-50. One of them is on the board. And if that's the case, all right, let's get Caleb a toy. Let's get him a little friend because we've seen that trend recently in the NFL where, hey, let's get Tua, his old college buddy in Waddle along with Hill. Let's get Burrow Chase. Let's take care of our quarterbacks. Let's make his life easier. So that's probably the way they go. But again, a lot of flexibility there.
Hey, Will, because we're talking about the draft, I kind of want to get your perspective real quick because you said you're a Vikings fan. With Kurt going to Atlanta and the Vikings being loaded at the skill position players, what do you think they're going to do or what do you hope they do?
Yeah, I've given up trying to figure out which quarterbacks are going to be good. I mean, nobody gets it right. None of these teams get it right. It's such a hard thing. I guess I'd hope that May falls to them. It seems like May has the most upside, which is like the body, the ability to run, the arm. I know he wasn't great last year, and there's a reason people are down on him. Accuracy issues. Not totally sold on McCarthy. I don't want like Penix or Nix. I'm looking for the upside. I'd rather swing for the fences. And if he's no good, you find out in 2 or 3 years, and you just take a crack at another guy. I don't want decent. I want to swing for the fence. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's Patrick Mahomes' league. If you want to win the Super Bowl, you got to compete with the Mahomes of the world. So you need a guy who's really good. So maybe May can fit that. I do think they'll probably trade up. They went under the radar. I was like during March Madness, maybe a little before, where they traded for. They already have the 11th pick. They traded up for the 21st pick to get a second first rounder. And that was a suspicious move. I think of the Brian Windhorst holding the fingers in the air. Why would they do that? Why would they do that so early? I think they're trying to position themselves to possibly get up to 3, 4, get May, get McCarthy. There's whispers they love McCarthy. I know the offensive coordinator, McCown, who they hired, or I think it's the quarterback coach they hired, was Drake May's offensive coordinator or head coach in high school. Oh. So there's some connection there. You got to figure there's a quarterback there. I mean, I can't see them going into the season with Darnold. I know there's a faction of people that just won't give up. They can't quit Sam Darnold. But I probably think they're going for a quarterback.
Yeah.
McCarthy over or under 5.5?
It's a great question. I'll go over, but I wouldn't bet it.
Okay, well, I did.
He just fist bumped.
What did you bet, over or under?
I bet over, but I got it up, I think, at like plus 180 or something. It's down to like
that's a good bet.
Plus 115. So we'll see. All right, let's get into it. Will, you started a podcast in December 2023. The show Should Have Bet More features your perspective on the world of sports and sports gambling. along with interviews with guests on topics of interest. Not too dissimilar from us, but you've been doing it for 4 months. You're a pro. It's really high quality. Is this your first podcast?
No, I did one for Bet Rivers and VSiN 2021 for like 6 to 8 months, and then Bet Rivers had to deal with VSiN where they were called CityCast. New York, Philadelphia, LA. There was like 8 of them, and I was given the New York one. I guess somebody else had it before me. It wasn't very good, so they replaced it with me. I loved it. It took a little while to get good at it, but I loved it. Eventually, I got good at it. I feel like towards the end, and then I got a text September 1st, 2022. They're like, "Hey, Bet Rivers doesn't want to renew the deal. All the city casts are gone," which I had kind of seen coming because I had to look on like Apple and some of the other podcasts or whatever. Like there was just like some of them had 3, 4, 5-star reviews. Like those podcasts were around a year and they weren't getting a lot of traction. They were paying us decent money. So I was like, I wasn't shocked. I was really upset by it. It was really frustrating. I didn't feel like it was fair, but part of the deal. So I pivoted, started to do other things, still did stuff with VSiN. And then recently this December, Go Boys, who, they're in the Discord space, they do live shows. The guy who runs Go Boys reached out to me, and we'd been in talks before. I was like, hey, we have the equipment, we have the infrastructure to do podcasts. And I'd been telling him, hey, I'd love to do one. He said, we'd love to do it. So we got it going. It felt like it took a little time to get back in the rhythm. It's weird. You guys have each other you're doing it with, but for me to just sit here in my room and talk to myself, it's a little weird at first, but it's going well. It's fun. I've listened back to every one of them at least multiple times. I'm happy with it. I think they're good. When I text people or I DM people, I'm like, hey, check out my podcast. I have confidence. I'd be very surprised if I was like, hey, True Serum, tell me what you think. I'd be very surprised if anyone who likes sports, like betting, listened to be like, man, it sucked. Like, I'm just sorry if I can't swear on this. I think they're good. And a lot of it, it's not me. I think my biggest strength, I bring on good guests. I have a good feel for like the content. I have, good enough connections through doing this where I have a sense of like, hey, March Madness, we'll do college basketball, NBA playoffs and draft. We do NBA playoffs and draft. I have enough of like, I'm not a hockey guy, but baseball, basketball, football, I feel like I can talk all of those sports. And I feel like I have enough guests in my Rolodex to bring it on and make the shows good. And I just have to slap on a 10, 12 minute open, have a 15, 20 minute conversation. And before you know it, it's a half hour and we're done. We were just talking before how you guys don't like to go a half hour. I feel like half hour is the sweet spot. And it's funny how much feedback I've gotten. A lot of people that say they like the podcast, like, man, I love how short it is, which I thought was weird at first. And like, if you like something, why would you want it to be short? But I do understand, like I've seen other people's podcasts that are like hours long. Yeah. And I do get people aren't going to press play on something they know they're not going to finish. There's a psychology, even if you like it, you're like, if it's 4 hours, well, I'm not going to click on it because I'm not going to listen to the whole thing. It's almost like, well, I don't want to watch a 5-hour movie because I'm not going to sit through it. So it's interesting. I feel like I saw a study somewhere too that the average like work commute time is right around 28, 30 minutes too, which makes sense. So it's a nice little tidy thing where you don't feel like it's a huge commitment. You can kind of bang it out. And if you want to really get through it, 2x speed, you're done in like 10, 12 minutes. So I feel like 30 minutes is the perfect sweet spot in terms of time.
Our shows had bloated to about an hour and 15 minutes. The recent one, sorry, audience, for that. But as part of this reformatting, I have committed to both these fellas. Every episode will be under an hour. So that's mine. We can't get to your point here, Will. We still have to do our talking between us.
Our rambling, yeah.
If we can keep it under an hour, we're in good shape. Okay.
The thing is, the podcasts I don't mind that they're long. So I'm kind of, I guess, in the minority where if something's if I like the podcast, I'm not turning it off because I'm not pressing play because it's long. I enjoyed it. And if it gets too long for me, if it gets boring, I'll turn it. I have the option of turning it off, but I don't mind when they're, hour plus, but people seem to, I don't know, man, people are, brains are changing. People just want quick, instant gratification. We need a pitch clock in baseball. Everything has to be quicker, faster. So I get it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you said it because it definitely aligns with the conversations we were having internally. So that's actually a great reference point for us.
Interesting.
So, if you don't mind going a little more meta for a second, what is it about podcasting? Like, why were you itching to get back into the podcasting space overall?
I like it. I mean, it's almost like you're your own kind of GM or coach. You could sit here. I could talk about whatever I want. I can bring on whoever I want. I can weed out what's important. I can get things off my chest. If I notice something, I have an outlet, a format to speak it, whether it's I was watching this game and this happened, the announcer didn't say it, or Embiid's had a bad game, and it's like, how many times are we going to go down this road with Embiid where he's 31 and he's hurt every? I just feel like, I have a lot of thoughts, I have a lot of opinions. It's a way to express them.
Totally get it. Totally get it. And then you were primarily convinced that just the timing of you starting back up in this last December, that was more a function of the business arrangement and the timing of that. You already
it was
had the
just
interest in there.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just, you know what, might as well do it now. And just the timing lined up the way it did. Yeah, there was no real rhyme or reason other than, hey, I'm ready. You guys are ready. Let's just start doing them.
Yeah, that's awesome. He connected the dots there. Yeah.
So 4 months in, is it going as you had expected? Is it going as well as you had expected? What are your feelings 4 months into the show?
It's a good question. It's going well. It's going, I would say, a little better than I expected. It's hard because you never know. Like, you never really, what are you basing on? It's not like, you go out and play a basketball game and you know how many points you scored and you know if you win or lose. It's hard to know. Now people tell you it's good, but you never know. It's just be nice. Are they really? Even though I think it's good, and even though people tell me it's good, I'm always just like I don't really know. I mean, again, it's hard to like. Audience is decent, growing at a decent rate. So look, I can't complain. I'm happy with how it's growing, but I'm sure you guys have that feeling too. Or you do a podcast and you go, I think it was good. Did you guys think it was good? Yeah, but you never know how other people really think of it. So it's definitely a hard thing to really measure.
Yeah.
Right. And for us, I think a lot of the gains that we've seen from the podcast itself isn't necessarily growth in numbers or growth in a specific thing. It's more about the connections that we've been able to make and the conversations that we've been able to have and those sorts of drivers on our more kind of hobby level related to the business side of things. We don't have specific, metrics that we're trying to tie into or anything that we have to keep up with. So overall 4 months in, it's going kind of as you expected. Have you hit any road bumps or anything along those lines that you felt you've had to overcome in the process?
No, I would say the first couple weeks back where you're just like talking by yourself, you're just not as smooth getting your thoughts out, monologue, just kind of talking to an empty room. But that's about it. I wouldn't say there's any speed bumps. I think it's I think it's going well. I think I'm covering the spread. I think I'm covering the number.
All right, real quick, dead or alive, what would be the number one guest on your to get list?
Boy, it's a great question. You guys ask good questions. Number one guest, anyone in the world. Boy, what's your next question? Let me come back to that.
All right, let's get into this then. What is your creative process like for planning your shows?
It is not as in depth as you might think. I'm always watching sports, betting sports. In the moment kind of dictates itself. Like I just finished my Open. It's a day or two. It's going to air Wednesday morning. It's going to come out 6:00 Wednesday morning, day before the NFL draft, and there's playoff games. So I'm going to talk about the NFL draft and I'm going to talk about playoff games. Gets a little harder February, post Super Bowl, pre-March Madness. You definitely have to be a little clever, but the time of the season kind of dictates it. When it's NFL playoffs, you're going to talk NFL playoffs. When it's NBA playoffs, you're going to talk NBA playoffs. Summer, okay, that might get a little tricky, but before you know it, football gets here and we're doing NFL previews. So what am I thinking about? What am I betting? I think I just go with that. Again, baseball, basketball, football. I'm kind of a meat and potatoes guy. I recreationally bet golf, but like when it's in the Masters, I'll do a Masters show. But I'm not like into UFC a whole lot. I'm not into some of the more niche sports like soccer or anything. Baseball, basketball, football, and the time of the season just kind of dictates that. By the way, I've thought about your answer. If I could have anyone in the world,
let's hear it.
I would have Ohtani on, but it would be under the provision I have to have him be honest about like what happened with the whole betting thing.
No, that's a great answer for sure.
Do you think that's the truth of the betting thing?
I thought there was no chance it was true when I first heard the story. I was like, he's obviously betting.
Yeah.
But as the story unfolded, I mean, he's giving his phone to the FBI and saying, hey, I'm telling the truth. I never bet. Here's my phone. I mean, if you're going to give your phone to the FBI and tell them, hey, this is what happened. I guess it's popped now. I don't know who's his financial advisor, how this could possibly happen.
Right.
And if you look at his career, I know he's making some money off the field. I think he hasn't made as much as you think. I know this contract was big with LA, but it's deferred. It's not like he's making hundreds of millions with the Angels. You'd think he'd notice. It does feel like there's more to the story, but I would probably opt towards like, you know what? He kind of got duped. It's strange. It's hard to believe. Seems like there's something missing. And it's hard to believe that this guy he's around all day, all night is placing 22 soccer bets a day for hundreds of $1,000s. You got to figure he's looking at the scores, putting in bets, sweating. That never added up. I don't know. It's definitely strange, but I tend to kind of believe him, which I didn't at first.
Yeah. That's a crazy story. Like it's been a crazy sports betting story last couple of weeks, months.
Your internal debate right there that you just had with yourself. One side of you is me. One side of you is Kurt. Very clearly defined our perspectives on this, and we've been going back and forth on that one.
Yeah.
So see, we think nothing's black and white. It's all gray, whatever the perspective is. So, okay. What about like, do you put together your own show notes for your podcast episodes, or are you going off the brain?
Mostly going off the brain. Sometimes I'll write down a few things. Hey, don't forget this. And when I don't, I forget. I had a point the other day that I wanted to make that I didn't. But for the most part, the show kind of writes itself. Where I'm going to do the show for tomorrow, and I got 3 NBA games on Wednesday. I got the draft. There is more organization, but it's more internal. Like, all right, how should I cover the draft? I'll just, I haven't really given my thoughts on the draft. I'll do my kind of mock top 10. I'll put out the disclaimer that I have no idea, no information, just like everybody else, but I'll have some fun with it. I'll say what I think, and then God damn it, I forgot to put one in. I wanted to mention a couple of people have been telling me the Rams to pick a quarterback at 25-1 is live, and I've meant to mention that in the show, and I forgot to. So you know what? I should start writing more of this stuff down. You guys brought up a good point because I forgot to mention that. So for anybody listening to this podcast, Rams 25-1 to pick a quarterback. There's whispers they want one. There's whispers, hey, Stafford, maybe this is last year. The best time to pick a quarterback is when you're not desperate for one. I should start writing more stuff down, mostly go from the brain, but maybe that's a mistake.
Is that an any round bet or first?
It has to be their first pick. Okay. Their first pick has to be a quarterback. 25-1. I mean, again,
that's pretty serious. Yeah, that's some serious scratch.
You had some strong feelings on that you didn't think that was going to happen, didn't you? Didn't you say the Rams need something else or something? It doesn't matter. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's not supposed to win. At 25-1, it's not supposed to win.
Right, exactly.
You want to sit down with $100 and just have a couple beers and enjoy the draft. You're not going to get hurt at 25-1. You get hurt when you start betting every rumor, betting every piece.
Right.
Well, this guy might go here and we bet it. Oh, that guy might go here, but you just end up with too many bets. But you know what? You take a shot at something 25-1. If it hits, it's great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So
we got free bets, Will.
So we got excited and bet on the Wizards not to win another game, and I was like sweating at every game because it was so fun.
Yeah, next time you see Paulie Howard, tell him we were all over that with him. We were trying hard.
My wife was like, "I don't think that's going to win," and I'm like, "As the odds imply."
That's the best when you give out like something that's 100-1, then it loses. Then somebody chirps at you. Oh man, nice call on that 100. Well, yeah, it's 100-1. Like, of course, yes.
How do you get the word out about your show? Is it primarily through the Gold Boys Network, or what do you utilize?
I do hits on VEASAN. I try to promote it as much as possible. Anybody asks me to come on my podcast, I say yes, pretty much. I just get. You can't over promote. I mean, there's so many podcasts out there. There's so much competition that look. When I interact with somebody on Twitter, I'll usually shoot them a DM. Hey, check out my podcast. It's free. What's the worst they're going to do? I hate it. I'm not listening to it. Okay, it's a free roll. If the upside is they listen to it, they love it, they tell their friends. I mean, that's all you can really do is just spread it as much as possible, do as much promotion as much as possible, and just try to do content and try to do good content and just hope it catches on.
Yeah. All right. So when's the last time you realized you should have bet more?
Every time I win a bet. I'm very proud of that title because I came up with it and we're going back of all the different titles, like, oh, bet on it or bet this. It's like, first of all, it's hard to come up with something clever. It's really hard to come up with something that hasn't been taken yet.
Yeah.
So I was proud of that. That being said, it's such a bad mental habit to every time you win a bet, oh, I wish I bet more.
Yeah.
So you're going to make a bet and two things are going to happen unless you tie. You're either going to lose and you're going to be upset, or you're going to win and you're going to wish you bet more, then you're going to be upset. That's a horrible way. You're not going to enjoy betting like that. And again, I'm joking about it. I'm being tongue in cheek, but
yeah.
I work on it all the time. I really need to improve. Or you bet something and you have that FOMO, man, I really should have bet more. And it's such cognitive bias. Well, yeah, you should have bet more now because you know the result. It's easy after the result to say, you should have bet more. So it's a fun, like catchy sort of title, but and look, it's super relatable, which is why people like it. But it's not a great like mental habit to just always be lamenting. Oh, I should have bet more. Oh, I lost that bet. You're just never going to be happy if you're always lamenting that you should have bet more when you do win.
Yeah.
Do you always bet a consistent unit size, or are you one who varies based on perceived edge, or?
Both, the latter. Very based on perceived edge. If I'm having a good week, bet a little more. Yeah, but
gotta spice it up.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So you talked a little bit about your trip to Vegas with your conversation with Kelly, right?
Yes.
How often do you get to Vegas?
Pre-kids, it was pretty much every year. With kids, it's a little harder. I'd say every other year. I mean, we went 2 years ago. Trying to go every year, every other year.
You a casino guy? Like you play craps and blackjack and all
Not
that stuff?
really. No, not
yeah.
really.
Minus EV.
That's what we are.
Sports.
Not you. He's casino gambling. We're sports. All right.
I have, now that you mentioned it, I don't know what triggered this. I have one more thing that I forgot to mention in my podcast. So I'm basically just coming on my podcast and doing the things I forgot to mention on mine on yours. I don't know if you guys
This
mind.
is awesome.
But I did a Bet US show today, a draft show for Bet US, and Steve Fezzik, who I've had on my podcast, professional bettor. He made a good point. He's going to bet Caleb Williams to go number first overall. And he said, if you have a book that is generous with the rewards and it just matters what you stake, like a lot of these books, especially in Vegas, hey, you bet X amount of dollars, you get this reward, or you get bumped up to a certain status based on that. If you want to just rack up reward points, you're not tying it's first of all, it's going to win, and you're not tying up your money for days, weeks, months. You're tying up your money for, I don't know, hours. If you bet it Thursday morning, I know you're betting whatever, $500 to win $1, something ridiculous, but it's just free rewards points. So he made that point. I meant to make that point and relay that on my podcast. For anyone that thinks it's interesting, go ahead and do that. If he somehow doesn't go number one overall, we can, I don't know, we can just edit this out or something.
Yeah, like hello, 7 stars at Caesars.
Exactly. He's a big 7-star guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Where you're tying up. He made the other, another comparison too, where I guess during the Super Bowl, one book has the coin toss even money both ways, which is a fair bet because it is 50-50. There's no vig. You can bet heads, you bet tails. So he's got one account where he bets heads, and he got like his wife's account, they bet tails. And you know what? You're probably going to win one of those based on the odds. And you just rack up the free points. So little tricks of the trade of just, racking up free points. I know too, I hope I'm not talking out of school. I don't think I am. But when a baseball game like gets rained out, sometimes they don't scratch it right away from the board, and you fire on it and you get your points, and you get your refund, but you get your points too. So little tricks of the trade I think are interesting.
That's a good one.
Yeah, becoming an advantage play segment.
This is like a credit card.
This is right up my alley.
I like this one. Right? That is right up your alley. All right. Before we let you go, Will, any lessons you can pass along for folks who are interested in getting into podcasting or just interested in re-energizing their show?
I think if you're going to do it, it's just, you're going to not make a lot of money, especially at first, maybe not for a while, maybe not ever, but if you love it, you love it. It doesn't feel like work. It's fun. It's a good way to, it's good practice, and just promote the hell out of it. Network. There's a lot of competition, but hey, anybody can do it. Nothing stopping you. So look, I love doing it. I get the sense you guys love doing it too. So if you love it, there's it's not work. You'll enjoy it. And if nothing else, it's good practice.
Keep it fun. Keep it a hobby. That was another one of our key points from our conversation. Great advice. Last but not least, before we let you go, Will, your go-to greasy fast food is?
Too greasy fast food. I don't have a Raising Cane's here. I went to one in Vegas. It was really good. Can I go with Arby's?
Yes, you absolutely can go with Arby's. The meats. We all love the meats.
Giant roast beef, extra giant, whatever they call extra giant roast beef. Absolutely. Give me.
Excellent. I love that. Thank you so much, Will Hill, for joining us. You can find him at Not The Will Hill on Twitter, or search for his show, Shoulda Bet More, wherever you get your podcasts. Good juju to your bets, everyone. We'll talk again soon. All right, boys. So we just had Will Hill on. I thought it was a really insightful interview. I don't know if I'm more excited about my podcasting future or about the Bears future.
Yeah, I had no idea he was a Vikings fan.
I think my favorite part of that interview was actually hearing him, a Vikings fan, talk as positively as he did about the Bears.
Yeah, everybody always craps on the Bears, don't they?
That's literally all we ever hear anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be a fun draft.
Yeah. And with the draft coming up, it was great to get his perspective on that.
Yeah, definitely.
But as far as podcasting goes, he has a lot of great insight as well on that particular topic. He's been doing this now for 4 months with his current show.
Yeah.
But Will Hill's been a professional in the space for a long time.
Yeah.
He's been on VSiN with the CityCast, as he mentioned in the interview. He had a podcast through the Bet Rivers Network.
Yeah.
Previous to this. So when he talks and when you hear him go through that process for him, I think it's quite a bit different than it is for us.
We're building that muscle still, right?
Yeah.
He has that.
He
I think
has it.
that came
Yeah.
through really clear in
Totally.
the interview, where Will is a professional.
Yeah.
For Will to sit down and have a half-hour conversation with folks, like you said, it's muscle memory for
Yeah.
him. Whereas audience, just so you know, for us, it's a whole process to get this all together for one show. Now, some may say I over-prepare. That is definitely something that's been said. But
Perhaps.
I think part of it is just that learning to relax, learning to let it come naturally. And I do think with our focus on this podcasting journey as we have it, that the conversations come much easier with our
Yeah.
guests as a result. So
Yeah.
like,
You can tell he's a vet with the mic.
Totally.
yeah. So
Yeah.
great interview. Will, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Congrats on a year.
Congrats on a year. That's going to do it for us this week, folks. Good juju to your bets, everyone. We'll talk again in 2 weeks. Mark your calendars.
Yeah, Mark, set an alarm.
Bye.